Tom Brady was limited in practice because he said that the Thunder needed the ball to be great. And I said, I can't believe they think they need Lonzo Ball to be great.
The best joke's the one you explained. Go ahead.
Then don't ask me follow-ups. Tom Brady was limited in practice Wednesday. Cris Carter, it's every day. He injured his throwing hand after colliding with a teammate. So reports are that he might be slightly affected in the AFC Championship game, but that he should still be okay. So, CC, how much trouble are the Patriots in if Brady is not 100% against the Jaguars Sunday?
Well, I don't. If Tom Brady doesn't play well, there's not a whole bunch of paths to victory for them to play. But I don't think this injury to his hand, I mean, if we examine every hand, I know Tom Brady's the quarterback, we examine every hand out there, we're going to have 60 hands that have bruises on them after the divisional round and now leading to the AFC Championship. Everyone's banged up. Everyone's got soreness. Everyone's got shoulders. Everyone's got ankles, knees, everything. I'm not concerned about Tom Brady as far as his hand being dinged. Quarterbacks have these type of injuries often. By Sunday, Tom Brady will be back to 100%. So I don't believe that his hand will affect his performance. And Tom Brady, I know Tom would want this. I'm not putting in an excuse for Tom Brady. Even if his hand is injured, I'm expecting him, and he's expecting, to play at his best on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Tom Brady's hand being dinged. I am worried about him getting dinged by that Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line. So that's the main concern that I have. And I don't think Bill Belichick or anybody on that Patriots team is worried about his hand being able to go on Sunday afternoon.
I do want to tell the audience, like, whatever happened, it necessitated an X-ray afterwards. It's something that they are obviously, that they were not planning. They were not anticipating. And you mentioned that everybody's dinged after the divisional round of the playoffs. What is true is you don't expect your quarterback to be more dinged on Wednesday than he was on Tuesday. It's why they don't let you touch him in practice, right? Like, I mean, I understand what you're saying, that Brady wouldn't want excuses, that this is not, he didn't break a bone. This isn't something that's a devastating injury for the Patriots, but it is noteworthy. They don't even let guys touch the quarterbacks at Wednesday practice throughout the week, correct? Like, I mean, the guy who did this, I'm sure, got in trouble for getting close enough to even touch Tom Brady at practice before an AFC Championship game. Like, that's noteworthy.
I guess. I mean, if y'all think so, like, I mean, if I guess, I mean, I've been in too many locker rooms. I've seen too many guys get hurt on a Thursday, a Wednesday, and they're okay. I'm not going to put any fuel on this, all right? Like, I don't see the reason to. Because I've seen so many guys. I had dislocated fingers on a Friday. Brad Johnson, before a big game, he's playing catch with a guy. I'm sitting there doing my tape, and I was done catching, and Brad throws me one, and I go to protect myself and dislocate my finger on a Friday before the game. Don't nobody want to care about it. Don't nobody care about it. I still went out there on Sunday and did what I had to do. This is par for the course. This is what we do, and this is what you should expect of football players, especially playing in January.
For what it's worth, I still care. I would have cared. I did care. I do care.
Right, and it's not as if I don't think injuries are significant, because when Tom Brady missed Wednesday practice during the season, I thought it was significant. This right here, I don't think it's significant, and I might have heard a thing or two coming out of that, out of New England.
Could have literally saved 2 minutes if you said that before the other part.
We could have skipped to that part, right?
We could have skipped right to that part. Now we can move on to another storyline.
I tell y'all that all the time, and y'all still don't believe me.
It's your friend's sources,
I'm
Bob's
with you,
sources.
CC. I'm with you.
All right, let's talk about this game. Now, I'm not a betting girl.
He drank some of that Tom Brady juice, and it went away.
Okay.
Little TB12 action.
Avocado ice cream.
Cris Carter, you don't know this about me. I'm not exactly a betting girl. I mean, I'll win $20 at the slots and literally leave Las Vegas immediately. But New England is favored by more than a touchdown in this matchup. I might bet that. Tom Brady is playing in a conference title game for the 7th straight season and the 12th time overall. Jacksonville defensive end Calais Campbell acknowledged it'll be difficult to throw Brady off his game.
It's tough, you know. I mean, you have to try to mix it up, but honestly, he's seen it all. You know, I mean, he's played against this defense, a few times, so he's familiar with it. And so it's gonna be hard, but at the end of the day, we got to just keep trying to mix it up. And the biggest thing, for us to be successful is we have to harass him, just make him uncomfortable. I mean, he's, obviously he's the best player to ever play this game for a reason. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of guys who can make plays, and we have to just take advantage of opportunities.
Cris Carter, this Jaguars pass rush is no joke. What do the Patriots, what did Tom Brady have to do to tackle that?
Well, I think Bill Belichick is going to have to help Tom Brady with formation and scheme. When you look at the personnel of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they got two of the best corners in the league, Jalen Ramsey, All-Pro, A.J. Boye. Like, outside of the numbers, I don't know that you want to attack the Jacksonville Jaguars defense that way. So I think that a lot of throws are going to happen in between the numbers, crossing routes, option routes by those receivers. Take advantage of the matchups which you have with the linebackers and those nickelback. That's what you're going to have to do in terms of being able to move the football with your skill position players. Up front, I think a lot of that will be the formations, going with some wide looks, some inline tight ends, cut splits by the wide receivers, your tight end in a nasty split, being able to chip on those edge rushers. It's always easier to break down the pocket from the outside than it is on the interior because you typically have more space. So it's going to be imperative that Tom Brady gets help from Bill Belichick in terms of being able to take care of those edge rushers, Yannick Ngakoue and Dante Fowler. You're going to have a plan for those guys. But the one thing that you can't account for is interior pressure. There's only so much help that those three can get on the two guys inside. Yes. And so somebody's going to be left one-on-one. If you rewind back 2 years ago and look at that AFC Championship game in Mile High, Malik Jackson was the star of that game. That was the difference. Now, Wade Phillips did some things creatively on the defensive side of the ball. Everything was out of a split safety look, cover two, but you didn't know if it was cover two, two-man, if it was going to be man-free. He changed up the coverages and changed up the different rush points, but ultimately you had four amigos getting after the quarterback. And that guy on the interior, that three technique that's responsible for putting that quick pressure in the A-gaps on Tom Brady, that was the guy that gave the Patriots offense trouble. And so when you have that, not only from a pressure standpoint and being able to get Brady on the ground, but in terms of interrupting the passing lanes and getting your hands up, that's going to be one of the things that affects Tom Brady. If the Jacksonville Jaguars can do that, they're going to give themselves a chance in this game. And on the other side of the ball, if the Patriots can neutralize that and keep a clean pocket and allow Tom Brady to step up, they'll be able to have success.
You've talked a ton about that in these games, ideally, whether it's your pregame preparation, your game plan, whatever it is, you keep to the script of what got you there. That ideally, you don't have to do anything either as an individual or as a team drastically different than what you've done to get to a conference championship game. That's what bodes the best for the Jags defensively. Only one team in the league rushed the passer more often this year with just 4 guys. The Jags were second in the league on percentage of plays run where they rushed 4 guys. The Jags, now, how successful were they? They ended the year second in the league in sacks. Yeah. So they were super successful. So they haven't been a team that's had to blitz throughout the season to get to the opposing quarterbacks. Now, they will, I'm sure, and I think it's something you're going to talk about, switch maybe some alignments up, switch some things up, maybe switch some different, have guys in different places than they typically would be in to throw a slightly different look at New England. But the Jags are not a team that has thrived on the blitz. We saw when Dick LeBeau was in Pittsburgh, the Steelers would have all this success throughout the season, didn't have a lot of success against Brady and the Pats. What's one of the reasons? The way they got pressure historically in that under Dick LeBeau, that zone blitz scheme, sending a bunch of guys, and we've talked about the stat. From 2007 to 2017, Tom Brady threw 90 touchdowns and 0 interceptions when facing 6 or more rushers. Like, he didn't throw a single pick against a heavy blitz. So the Jags don't rely on that. That does bode well for them, and I'm sure they'll change some things up going into this game so they see something slightly different.
Yeah, I think it's very important that the Jags, because New England will be prepared for their outside rush. And typically, you don't see a lot of people besides Von Miller a couple times, Cliff Averill when he was there in Seattle, being able to come all the way around the edge and also get back into the pocket, because Tom is not going to sit deep in the pocket. That's why I believe it's important to collapse the pocket. If I'm Jacksonville, I would try to get as many snaps as I can with my biggest and best defender, that's Calais Campbell, and I would put him on Shaq Mason, the right guard, or on the center. These are both undersized guys. They are really small. And if you're talking about a size mismatch, a strength mismatch, an ability mismatch, because only way they can help from being soft in the pocket is by bringing the back in the middle. And if they bring the back in the middle, it helps with your pass coverage. Now, typically, New England likes to chip the backs on the outside or release the backs through the line of scrimmage into their pass route where they typically have option routes. So If I'm Jacksonville, that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking for Malik Jackson and Calais Campbell to wreck the interior of New England. If they are going to win, it's because that part of the game has happened.
And CC, another thing that the Jacksonville Jaguars can do is take a page out of what the Denver Broncos did to try to help their edge rushers out. They chopped up the front. What I mean by that is running ET games. Have the end be able to come inside on that tackle, because that tackle's out there on the island. Give the end a two-way go. Allow him to come inside to try to create quick pressure, and then allow those defensive tackles to wrap.
And they have to do this with a no huddle.
Yes.
They're not going to be able to rotate.
No.
Now, they have a good rotation in Jacksonville, but Tom Brady will go no huddle to make sure they don't rotate.
Why are we guessing? You're wearing a ring. You already beat Tom Brady. Just tell us.
Well,
tell us what the defense has to do.
Well, CC brought up a good point, and I think Tom Brady and Bill Belichick learned their lesson with going up against the New York Giants twice in the Super Bowl and failing to be able to beat them. We had 8 defensive linemen, so we were rolling 4 rushers every 3 or 4 plays, and that's exactly what you want to do, be able to maintain the freshness of your 4 pass rushers, because ultimately their success in terms of affecting Tom Brady and the timing of that passing game, a lot of what the Patriots do is timing.
Right.
Those option routes,
yes.
those crossers. It's all timing, throws
and
in
when the
between
Giants
the
won those 2 Super Bowls and those upsets, the Patriots didn't go as much no huddle as they go now.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. They're not going to allow those defensive linemen to rotate.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.